Before I mark these legs, I'm going to consult my drawing again and see if I can zoom this to get this right where it can be seen. All right. That looks pretty good. All right, this shows that the table is supposed to be 26 inches high, and we know the border is an inch thick, and if you remember right, I cut these at 25. Looks like they're about 24 and 15/16 actually. So, this drawing actually doesn't have a whole lot of dimensioning on it. It shows the top is a dimension of an inch. The top diameter is 18 inches. The height of the piece is 26. I know that the bottom stretcher is 2.5 inches at the widest. Now this actually shows the posts I made on that particular table were only 1.5 inches. I made them a little bit thicker on this one. And as I said, this is a variation, so anyway, but it gives me no dimension here. However, this is pretty much to scale, so I can scale this up. And it's about 1 foot, 2 foot. So I know this is 3 blocks up. That's 6 inches to the top of this, which was, my gut was telling me 6 inches up. So, on to our pieces now. I want to put the flat sawn face out rather than the glue edge. On this particular one, it doesn't look too bad, but I'm going to guess that some of these may not look quite the best. I think it would be better to put the plain sawn or flat sawn face out. Okay, which means 2 things. The good face is still going to get marked because I need to put that little false tenon in there. So I'll come up 6 inches. And I got a crummy square here, but it's good enough for what I need. That's marked 6 inches. I'll come down 2.5 or up 3.5. Make another mark. That is where the stretcher position will be. I also know I want this little stub about 1/4 inch in from both sides. And in addition to that, I'll grab a piece here. When I lay this on here, you can see that that's pretty much where that is. The tenon is about 1/4 inch in. So what I usually end up doing is making the mortise just slightly wider than the tenon because you don't want it too tight. It's great if you can get it right on, but if you get it a little short, then you have a hard time getting it in there, and sometimes you have to stick it back in the machine, which isn't good because your second pass may take off a little bit more material, and then you get a loose joint, which is not as strong by any stretch as a nice snug joint. You don't want it tight enough that you have to drive it in with a hammer, but you want to be able to put the pieces together and kind of shake them a little bit and not have them fall on the floor. I don't know, both of those sides look pretty good. I guess I'll stick with this as the outside, and I'll just kind of make an X there. I know I need to come up 6 and up 3.5, and then I need to come down in 1/4 approximately. Now I'm going to fine tune this on the machine. The other thing I need to do is find the center, which is 1 inch. And just off of that, I'm going to mark approximately where that mortise is going to be. And I'm going to use these marks once I go to set that up. Now, let me just check the camera here. spin this around, maybe would be a better deal. Maybe bring that up just a little. Okay, now I know I want this top stretcher flush with the top of the post. So I'll come down 2 inches, make a mark. That should be where my, looks good. Again, come down up a 1/4 inch this way, down a 1/4 this way. Come into the middle, mark at 1 inch, 3/4, and 1 1/4 inches. There will be no stub tenon on the outside of this, just on the bottom here. So anyway, there's a rough layout. Now, it's never a good idea, and sometimes I get in a hurry and blow off this step, which usually leads to my downfall. You never want to use your good piece for your setup. In my egotistical manner, sometimes I think, I can get away with that. And it usually comes back to bite me. I've got a chunk here out of, well, actually this one didn't quite make it into the bucket, but this was a piece I had cut off. So this is the same size. You always want to make a little bit extra long or something so you have some setup pieces. And as you saw on those other ones, I had a couple little pieces around. So I'm going to use this to set up my mortises.